As if the McCrispy couldn't get any better, Bacon and Ranch just entered the chat. The Bacon Ranch McCrispy, available at participating McDonald's for a limited time. Ba-da-ba-ba-ba.
This episode is sponsored by State Farm. Choices are great. Like with your podcasts, you get to choose what you want to listen to. And State Farm believes insurance should work the same way. That's why the State Farm Personal Price Plan helps you get the coverage you want at an affordable price and a policy that helps cover what you value most. Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there. Call or go to statefarm.com today to create your State Farm Personal Price Plan. Prices vary by state. Options selected by customer. Availability and eligibility may vary.
The Purple Mafia with your host, Paladino Joey.
Well, we'll see. The doctors would disagree, but what do they know?
So let's just say that you'll pay me because it's in your interest to pay me.
Is it worth it? I mean, you've won. Do you want to wipe everybody out?
I don't feel I have to wipe everybody out, Tom. Just my enemy. That's all. My father taught me many things. He taught me, keep your friends close, but your enemies closer.
These are wonderful things that we've achieved, and there's no limit to where we can go from here.
Welcome to the family here on Purple Mafia. It is Wednesday, August the 22nd, 2012. I am your host, Paladino Joey. This is episode number 115 of Purple Mafia. I thank each and every one of you once again for downloading and listening to this show. It is a great, great big deal to me, and I hope it's a big deal to you. Thank Dylan Richardson, as always, for introducing me at the beginning. That was, of course, the voice of Dylan Richardson at the beginning, calling me Paladino Joey. And yes, as mentioned, I am your host, Paladino Joey, or Joey Wygen. So yeah, the Minnesota Vikings preseason is underway. Training camp has broken. It's over. Terrific. We're gonna, of course, talk about the two preseason games, not one, of course. So that's kind of how I wanted to do it this time with the preseason. Not really much about the breaking down the games. It's more about breaking down the performances of certain players, certain positions, how things are going. No cuts as of yet. So probably on the next show, well, most likely on the next show, there will be cuts to talk about, maybe some significant ones, because there's always ones that you're like thinking, wow, he got cut. Well, that's a little surprising. And again, that's always how it goes. We do have a call-in today. Yes, sir, we have a call-in after a hiatus on episode number 114. We have a call-in from Sebastian Balls. He talks in general, just like basically the same approach I'm headed for here. Not breaking down game-by-game type stuff, but more or less breaking down the way certain players are performing, certain important ones. Very cool job by Sebastian Balls there. And, well, he joins now.
Hey, Sebastian calling again. I was wanting to talk about Christian Ponder, Sage Rosenfels, Joe Webb, and Bethel Thompson today. I think we should keep Bethel Thompson over Sage Rosenfels. Rosenfels is an experienced veteran, but he does not have, I shouldn't even say experience, he's very limited experience. He's not doing anything good for us that I can see. Bethel Thompson has an arm. He can develop practice-wise, I guess you could say. The way Ponder gets hurt, he'll probably play a game or two this year. Webb is not looking good at all, in my opinion. Missing throws like Donovan McNabb. But those are just little cosmetic changes in how you throw, I guess you could say it that way, too. Bethel Thompson, you saw him. It's just insanely good against San Francisco. So, yeah, Christian Ponder's looking insanely good this year. Or no Tom Brady yet, but still looking a lot better than he did last year, to the sheer fact of he's getting protection most of the time. Kalil is actually looking pretty dang good, too. I know you're a big Kalil fan, and wanted to put that in there. Thanks for letting me call in again and be listening.
Hey, and never a problem, Sebastian. Always a welcome member of this show. Always welcome to call in, Sebastian Balls. Very, very terrific. Those of you out there, if you'd like to call in, the number is 209-736-7877. 209-736-7877. It is a voicemail. Mention which show you're calling in for, which is, of course, Purple Mafia. Do your statement, shout out, comment, and there you go. There you go, indeed. So as mentioned before, this is, of course, Purple Mafia, episode 115. It is available on thesportstuff.com and on iTunes. All right, let's continue where Sebastian left us. Well, yeah, Sebastian's comments, talking mostly about the quarterbacks there. Thank you for the little the little throw-in at the end about Matt Kalil. Yeah, I mean, hey, offensive line, I'm telling you, the offensive line already looks better. It does. Now that we're actually seeing guys playing against real NFL players. Yeah, it's preseason, but it's practice, and you get to see real guys going against other real guys and other teams. It's like a legit practice, you could say. Matt Kalil looks the part. He looks fantastic. The offensive line is better. It's not superb yet, but it's definitely better. So as for the quarterbacks, yeah, Sage Rosenfels, nothing spectacular out of him. No, I can understand the cock and Joe Webb looks. Joe Webb has looked pretty pathetic out there thus far. Pathetic. Bethel Thompson, well, I think he's a little raw, but yeah, he does have some raw talent, to keep the word raw going. You know, he's one of those guys who's tricky. You probably do want to keep him just to see, just in case. You probably do. I mean, it's not like Rosenfels and Webb are these can't-miss guys that, if one of them leaves, it's all over. Especially Rosenfels. I can understand where you're coming from there, Sebastian, where Rosenfels, well, it's kind of like you could say his ship has sailed in a lot of ways. Though it wouldn't kill me if he's like the third, if he was on the roster, because he's at least a veteran backup. Not necessarily to help the team win games or anything, but more, to kind of help Christian Ponder. Just being in the league and seeing other players in Sage's day has got to at least help a little bit. I mean, Sage has been in the NFL for a long time. Sure, he hasn't played in 160 games or anything, but yeah, I mean, Sage Rosenfels, I did think he kind of got a raw deal on occasion in the past. Right now, I wouldn't necessarily get a raw deal if he was traded or something along those lines. I'm not sure we'd even get much for him if he was traded. Joe Webb, I think we'd get something. I think you could possibly get a 4th or 5th round pick for Joe Webb. Maybe you'd have to settle for a 6th, which is funny because that's where he was taken. But I don't know. I think you could maybe get him for a 4th or 5th round pick. Maybe I'm crazy to say that. That's your opinion. That's why you're free to post on the Facebook page or call in or whatever, or tweet me. Either way, Purple Mafia. Facebook.com/Purple Mafia Show. Twitter.com/Purple Mafia Show. I guess I'm kind of leaning towards maybe Webb gone and Rosenfeld staying. Say we keep Bethel Thompson. Bethel Thompson's one of those funny developmental guys, like Tyler Thigpen was a few years ago, that we tried to let go, and hopefully he was going to make it to the practice squad, but the Kansas City Chiefs took him. And why do you think the Chiefs took him? Because the Kansas City Chiefs saw Tyler Thigpen during the scrimmages? Yeah, that had something to do with it. So, when Kansas City and Minnesota used to have those, now apparently we don't have those anymore. Too many fights, and a little bit of intel going on. That helped us lose Tyler Thigpen years ago. He didn't look exactly very good against the Minnesota Vikings late in the most recent game, the 4th quarter. Tyler Thigpen and Audie Cole. Yeah, truth in linebacker, not truth in engineering. Yeah, we'll get to that later. Audie Cole. Yeah, I'm not a big fan of Audi. I don't like companies that show off that much. Show off as much as they do. So, yeah. It's kind of hard for me to buy a company that thinks they're smarter than everybody else. Yeah, but we'll leave that alone. Sebastian, great call in. Yeah, I don't know. I guess I'm leaning towards Webb, and I mean it's tough. You know, Webb is kind of like the microwave off the bench kind of guy, and Sage, you're maybe better off with him starting games. Then again, Webb looked good against Washington in the past, but Ponder's not going to learn anything from Webb, and I think he's more likely to learn from Sage. But how much does Sage have to offer in terms of learning? So I guess in the end, Joe Webb is never going to be the full-time starter for the Minnesota Vikings. So maybe, possibly look at trading him. Maybe. Unless you feel that Ponder is fine and doesn't need a veteran quarterback in the roster. That's the reason why I'd say keep Webb in that sense. But otherwise, it's like keeping Sage is good. But the only thing is, I don't know how much longer Sage is going to be in the league. I mean, this is probably his last year. You know, it's a tough deal, and I know in radio you want to be black and white, not gray. It's tough. In the end, you bring up a valuable point, Sebastian. So it's kind of like, you know, it's a catch-22. It really is. I guess in the end, yeah, let's go the Sebastian route, possibly. Maybe Sage, if he's completely just washed up, which, yeah, I can definitely see that argument. And he does look completely washed up. I mean, he's worse than Bubby Brister, isn't he? You know, Bubby Brister was a few years ago, but Bubby did help Dante Culpepper get started. So, yeah, Ponder, as mentioned, as we're going to talk about Christian Ponder extensively in today's show. Hopefully this show won't be as long as some of the ones in the past. I mean, there's a little bit less reason to talk too long. I mean, we got the stadium wrapped up. Preseason, there's only so much you can say, ultimately, about the preseason. And it's not like there's a bajillion comments on the Facebook page right now. Those of you out there, yeah, please do join the Facebook page, as mentioned. Facebook.com/Purple Mafia Show. Click like, join it. That would be, I mean, that's how you join it. That'd be very nice to have you on board there. But, yeah, good thoughts, Sebastian. But it's like, yeah, if you're going to keep Webb, he has to be understanding of the likelihood he's probably never going to be a full-time starter on this team unless Ponder sees unless Ponder misses a lot of time. I mean, some people believe that Webb is better off coming in the game and not starting a game. Say if Ponder's hurt, he's better off being the guy who comes in, and then Sage would be the guy that would start the following game. Though, I mean, Webb has started already, so, and he's done some crazy stuff. He's won some games. Maybe he's the kind of guy that could help you get through a couple of tough matchups if Ponder were to miss 3 to 4 games or something during a successful season. He could squeak out a couple wins from you just in time for Ponder to come back and keep things going to your 11-5 record and see where we go from there. Yeah, I mean, it's an interesting conversation, Sebastian. You always like to bring up good topics, and that's why it's fantastic calling. Very, very young guy, but very good. You know, very good stuff. Very good stuff. So those of you out there, yeah, I mean, I posted a question on the Facebook page about a couple of weeks ago here. Yeah, August 10th. So, who's picking the 49ers to go to the Super Bowl? Sebastian says, I want to, but I just can't. I keep feeling Smith will get injured and they will fall apart. And, yeah, you know, that's the thing. It's one of those deals, and this stat was brought up not too long ago where, really, the teams that lose the NFC title game basically never go back. I mean, they very rarely win a playoff game. The last team to do it was the Philadelphia Eagles back in 2004 when they actually went on to go to the Super Bowl. That's the last team to do it, the NFC title game. The AFC title game was similar with the Pittsburgh Steelers. They went on to win it in 2005. I remember that. But it's rare. You know, usually the teams go down. 49ers are young enough and have enough talent to possibly go back, but I don't know. It's funky. It's going to be really tough to pick the NFC championship game. We'll say there's one team everybody's going to pretty much say, yeah, they're going to the Super Bowl and going to win it. We all know who they are. They're our eastern neighbor. We all know who they are. But outside of that, you got the Giants, who are the defending champs, and the Niners, and yeah, this topic's kind of bouncing around a bit. This is more for like the introduction of the season. But, me and Sebastian have an extended conversation there. Do check that out. Very cool. He's saying how the audio is better. I do appreciate that a lot. As, there is a new microphone now for this show, and, of course, Timberwolves Explosion and Brave the Wild, the other two shows for two other teams in this town. Do check those out if you can. Whenever. Sebastian really liked the first throw from Ponder, and he liked the kick from the new guy. Yes, sir. That being Blair Walsh. Blair Walsh, up to a good start in the preseason. Made his first 2 kicks. The Vikings only got 6 points in that 49er game. A very, very boring game. He was saying how there's still run-stopping issues, and that was kind of frustrating. It was a pretty unexciting. It was a pretty unexciting game. The Vikings' run defense still not that great. I mean, it's noticeable that Pat Williams is gone. I honestly think Kevin Williams has dropped off a bit the past. The past couple of years here. I think Kevin Williams has been dropping off. He was Sebastian continues saying how Kalil did decently good, and he's on the Bethel Thompson bandwagon. Like that. Lots of Sebastian on you. You guys better get posting on you, otherwise Sebastian's going to take over the whole show. Yep, Chris Tucker does post in there a little bit of photo. Sebastian's new jersey, he posted on there. You got a Jared Allen jersey. That's good. Chris Tucker also posting his new jersey on there as well. His is an Adrian Peterson. Good stuff always. A couple people talking there. Actually, yes, it is an Adrian Peterson jersey, a purple one. He's talking about how he's also talking about how he wishes he was in Mini, so he had access to more. But the good news is he grabbed the tickets to the Vikings game in Seattle because, he lives in Vancouver. That's awfully close to Seattle, so at least he gets to see him there. That's going to be good. He says, P.S. Sanford and Raymond are trash at safety. Poor Harrison Smith. I hate to say it, but Greg Child's injury is looking bigger than I thought. Super thin core. Correction. He ordered a white Jared, but says that Sebastian, your purple is nice. Yep, that's good stuff. He called him SB. At first I was like, Super Bowl. Wait a minute. No, Sebastian. So they're having a little conversation there. Hey, it's nice to see you guys interacting with each other. That's always a very good, healthy thing. It is indeed. That's the thing. The secondary. Let's just get to it now. Why not? Since this is mostly going to be kind of general review of both of the games. Yeah, the secondary sucks. Yeah, it sucks. It still sucks, ladies and gentlemen. At least Harrison Smith looks like he's far and away the best guy. Mr. Raymond looks not that good. Jamarca Sanford, that's cute. Jamarca freaking Sanford.
Man, you think I'm going to put myself through that again?
Yeah, it's a funny joke. It's definitely a funny joke. Jamarca Sanford, great stuff. The guy really can't play. He's just like Medea Williams in terms of, he can hit people hard, but what else can he do? We're happy for him. I'm going to stop making jokes about what he did to E.J. Henderson a few years ago. But, just hit the right guy, right? That was pretty bad. I'm not sure about the receivers being too. I don't know if I completely agree with the receiver core being that thin. It didn't look good in the San Francisco game, no. But Christian Ponder, by the way, is really starting to look like a competent guy. Forgive me if this seems a little bit like I'm bouncing around, but that's kind of how we're going to have to go at this point. So I guess to make it more organized, we're going to have to start. We'll do it by positions real quick, since we were still talking about quarterbacks. Let's get to Christian Ponder right now, and then I'll start talking about receivers and all that. I was just trying to keep up with what you guys were posting on there. Now I won't have to worry too much. Christian Ponder. Yeah. Christian Ponder. Sebastian Ball is saying how Simpson was awesome. I might be back on the Ponder bandwagon. Yeah, and I say why not? Why wouldn't you want to be on the Ponder bandwagon? Christian Ponder's starting to look better. Sebastian's saying his favorite show is my third show I ever listened to in Triple Mafia was right after Chester Taylor. Yep. I remember when he talked about losing Chester Taylor, he really liked that show, and I kind of went on about how Taylor was, more about the money, unfortunately, in the end, than about the team, and that's what they're talking about behind the scenes. So sometimes I bounce around because I want to be able to respond to these guys, to Sebastian and Tony and Chris Tucker and guys like that. We'll get to his next post, because that was the previous game here, the Buffalo game. We'll get to those in a little bit. But overall, in the preseason, Christian Ponder, now that we can finally get to the point here. Yeah, Christian Ponder looks like a starting quarterback in the NFL now. So far. And I really hope this continues. Last year, he looked kind of weird out there. He looked kind of weird other than his first ever game against the Green Bay Packers when it's like, here we go. But you got to think that was 90% adrenaline. It's your first start. You're very excited. You're ready to rock and roll. It's time to make a good impression. You're at home you're at home in front of all your fans and everything. This is just going to be a rock and roll. We're going to do the best we can to try to beat the best team in the world. And the Vikings, doggone it, almost beat the best team in the regular season, not the best team in the world. Yeah. The best team in the world wears red, white, and blue, and they were only 9-7 last year, which is really funny. And they took out the Packers, so they really earned it. But again, to the point for the 99th time, Christian Ponder, looks like a starting quarterback out there now. He does. He looks more poised. His passes are more accurate. His arm seems stronger. He's not just he's not like forcing plays to receivers that aren't there, a la Warren Moon, who at 38 still hadn't figured that out for some stinking reason. I mean, that guy, at age 38, as great as he was, he still lacked a little common sense there. But he's also not just tucking the ball away and running, which sometimes, A can get you hurt, B can cause a turnover, and C is just kind of, I don't know. It's good sometimes, but sometimes it's just not necessary. It doesn't really accomplish much. And your risk of injury and turnovers goes way up. It really does. If there's a big, gigantic hole and it's 3rd and 9, well, gosh darn it, run and get it, baby. Because that does happen sometimes. Everybody's thinking you're going to gun it deep or something, or gun it 20 yards down the field and there's nobody near you. Well, get that first down, Christian. But no, he's not just like panicking and running or trying to force a play. He's throwing the ball away more as well. But overall, his whole gamesmanship out there looks dramatically better. He looks like he looks like a legit starting quarterback in the NFL. A superstar? Not yet. Nope. A Pro Bowler? Not yet. Nope. But he's headed there. There is a legitimate chance Christian Ponder will be a Pro Bowl quarterback, multi-Pro Bowl quarterback in his career. I hope so. Again, he's not there yet. Last year, he looked like a very good chance he could be the next Rex Grossman. And I hate saying that. I was scared to death to say that and not only make you guys out there annoyed with me, thinking I'm a little bit too glass half empty, but at the same time, it's scary for me because we've been through too much. I've been through a lot as a Viking fan. This is my 21st season watching this team from start to finish, from preseason to whatever the final game of the regular season is. 21st season, folks. There's been a lot of history during those 20 previous years. There's been a lot of ups and downs, ladies and gentlemen. The good news is this team is on the uptrend. How much of an uptrend? We'll look deeper into that. It might be the next show or 2 shows from now when it'll be the official season preview, and we hope to have Dylan Richardson, who I hope is listening right now. Dylan Richardson, not only the executive producer of thesportstuff.com, but he's also hosted shows in the past, NFL East to West, the Sports Fans, and stuff. So he's more than capable behind the mic. He's also a good producer. And he's also, ladies and gentlemen, he's also a member of the Bears fan club. Yes, sir. Even though he's from Northern California, he is a Chicago Bears fan. Yes, sir. The Bears. So we will do an NFC North. I keep trying to say NFC Central because I'm still trapped in the past, just like I am with video games. I'm still trapped in the past. The NFC North. We're going to do an NFC North preview later on. We'll talk about the Vikings, the Bears, the Lions, and that other team that couldn't seem to get out of the. They just couldn't seem to win a playoff game last year, even though they only lost one regular season game. Yeah, we'll talk about them when we feel like it. We're gonna Randy Moss it for now. We'll talk about that team when we feel like it. Yeah. So again, Christian Ponder, is he the next Aaron Rodgers? Well, yeah. Let's not even get there. Let's not even think about it yet. But hey, I hope so. I hope he's the next something special. I hope he's the next Christian Ponder. You know what I mean? And I hope Christian Ponder is going to be the next big name in the league, along with the Aaron Rodgers. And, because it's, you had the Tom Brady, Peyton Manning era, guys like that. Phillip Rivers put up stats, but he was an ass, and is an ass. Other guys along the way. There was Donovan McNabb for a while there, was one of the better ones. He's terrible now, and he'll never play another down again in the NFL. Why is it escaping me some of the other good ones along the way around that same generation? Of course, Favre was from like a previous half of a generation or so on the lines there. I mean, there have been a lot of great quarterbacks over the years, and I hope Christian Ponder can be one of them again. That would be so cool, wouldn't it? Though that'd be pretty cool. Well, around that actual generation, Contact Cultiver for a short time, they put up ridiculous stats until he had like 3 tendons torn in his knee. That changed everything. So, really, the quarterback situation looks bright right now. It looks like you have a legitimate full-time starting quarterback now. You can finally say that instead of a potential Rex Grossman into a crazy, unorthodox Joe Webb. Maybe it's a legit starting quarterback with an exciting backup who looks like crap right now, but hopefully he'll... it's kind of annoying that Webb does look like crap, and hopefully in time he'll get it together again, I guess. I mean, he's never going to be great, but... hopefully he improves a little bit there. That'd be nice. So that's pretty much it for the quarterback situation. It's looking promising. Wide receiver. Well, we'd like that to look promising as well. Jerome Simpson can play. He can. How much can he play? Don't know yet. He's not perfect. He drops passes at times, but he's more than capable of putting up really... making a really good play here and there. A guy who made a really nice play in the 49ers game. It didn't lead to a touchdown, but it did lead to a field goal early on. Stephen Burton. That's right, Stephen Burton. Oh, and by the way, the number one offense, this very exciting stat was put out there. With Christian Ponder on the field, the Vikings have at least gotten a field goal in every single series in the preseason. So that right there, an extremely good sign for the Minnesota Vikings offense. And this is without, of course, the likes of Adrian Peterson, who will not play a single down in the preseason. Good or bad? Well, good that he won't get hurt. Bad that he's not going to get his feet wet at all. That's a little bit risky in some ways. You might want to get your feet wet a little bit, and he isn't. But no, the wide receiver position, it's looking better. It's not amazing or anything, but in the San Francisco game, it was pretty much useless, to say the least. So that's where you get a Chris Tucker saying it looks awfully thin. Yeah, he looked pretty weak in that game, but I mean the Buffalo game, it looked a lot stronger, at least significantly stronger, we'll say. Christian Ponder, very, very good in the game. Very good in the game. 10 of 13 overall. That's just awesome. It really is. Good numbers, and of course did not turn over the ball. I once called him a pond over because so many interceptions over the course of time. It's like, wait a minute, just who the heck is Jerome Felton? Yeah, he's one of those backup running backs. Ponder's touchdown pass in the game went to him, a 1-yarder, goal line type of play. Hey, we'll take it. Blair Walsh did miss a kick in this game, but from 49 yards out. I can't get too mad at him. I mean, look at this. He made, of course, a 22-yard chip shot kick. He made a 47-yarder. He made a 45-yarder. He made a 40-yarder and a 30-yarder. Yeah, Blair Walsh is, at least in the preseason, you could say Blair Walsh is a beast. Yes, he is. Yeah, he missed a 49-yarder. It was kind of ugly. You could tell it was going to miss right away. But look at all the kicks he did make. And they were all, and he made 3 kicks, 40 and up. So you got to like that. He was 3 for 4. He had 4 field goal attempts from 40 yards or more. And he made 3 of 4. And he missed the longest one. You're going to miss once in a while, especially those really, especially those ones that are about 50 yards. Yeah, Webb was pretty awful in the game. Rosenfels was, just mediocre. He just kind of is who he is. You could say Webb broke loose a 41-yard gain in the game. Oh, yeah, Joe Webb, the quickness of Michael Vick. And yes, he does. Joe Webb does have the quickness of Michael Vick, and he showed it in this game against the Buffalo Bills. Vikings looked pretty strong in the game overall, I'd have to say. Ball really went all over the place when it comes to receiving. You had Emmanuel Arsenault. Yes, sir. He had a 48-yard completion in the game. Yeah, that was from Christian Ponder. Christian Ponder looking pretty dang amazing in the game. I mean, not only is he accurate, but he's able to complete deep passes. He had a 33-yard completion to Jerome Simpson. Burton had another 26-yard completion. Michael Jenkins had a 35-yard completion from Christian Ponder. Ponder's just all over the place in this game. Percy Harvin, a 21-yard reception in the game as well. I mean, it's good stuff. The offense has a lot of potential. Burton did fumble the ball at one point in the game. That was a little bit annoying, a little frustrating. Oh, and real quick, Bethel Thompson in the 49er game had a pretty ugly interception as well. Yeah, just shows he's extremely raw, not necessarily ready to play any legitimate time in the National Football League, that's for sure. But third string, who knows? He did not play in game number 2 against the vaunted Buffalo Bills, who a lot of people believe will be a playoff team this year. Certainly didn't look at against the Minnesota Vikings. Though I've got a good feeling that the Vikings are going to have a very strong home record this year. Remember last year, the Vikings won one more road game than they won a home game. They won 2 games on the road and 1 at home. That was unbelievable. Isn't that crazy? They actually won enough more road games than home games last year. This year, I think the Vikings are going to have a good home record. I think it's plain as day. And when you have a lot of young guys like this, a lot of young energy going on, I think that can, they're going to feed off the home crowd, and they're going to have a good record this year, I believe. Man, Ponder was just amazing in the game. As I mentioned, 10 of 13, 136 yards officially. A quarterback rating of 135.4. So, ladies and gentlemen, this week's Gold Star going to none other than quarterback Christian Ponder. A well-deserved Gold Star to Christian Ponder. Yeah, usually I give that to one of the people on there. But, I mean, there just weren't very many posts from different people this time. And Christian Ponder was so freaking good. These 2 games, I have to give it to him. He gets the Gold Star for this week's show, for this episode, number 115 of Pro Bowl Mafia. Just an amazing, it makes the fans feel hope for the long-term future of this team. Not the short-term future, the long-term future. Christian Ponder's future is bright indeed. I keep talking about him because I'm excited, man. How could I not be? How could I not be excited? Toby Gerhart also, hey, not the yards of legends, but hey, he averaged five yards a carry. 6 carries, 30 yards. We'll take it. Toby Gerhart is, I mentioned late, in State of the Vikings address, or State of the Vikings 2012, we'll call it, to me, is a starting running back in the NFL. He is. He could start a running back in the NFL, ladies and gentlemen. Toby Gerhart absolutely could be that. Could be a, starter on multiple teams in the league. Of course, with a guy by the name of Adrian Peterson on this roster, that it's not going to happen right now. But later on, possibly, I mean, I got to think Gerhardt's going to be playing after Peterson. The odds would support that because Peterson started, 4 years before Toby, and running back doesn't last forever. We'll see, but, Gerhardt, I think, is going to be he's going to have a nice career in this league. He is. Who's going to be the third running back on this team? I have no idea, ladies and gentlemen. Matt Asiata's stats, though. Matt Asiata had a really nice game against the Buffalo Bills. He did. He's not the kind of guy you necessarily would have thought. There's your third running back, but maybe the possibility exists that a better player will be cut by a team in the next week or two, and the Vikings will take a flyer on that guy. But hey, right as of right now, Matt Asiata, there's your third running back. The way it appears right now. Derek Coleman not nearly as exciting as Matt Asiata, and it's not like Mr. Asiata had a spectacular game, but he was overall very good, very strong performance by him, and we'll take it. As Viking fans, we'll take what we can get. Ain't that the absolute truth? I mean, how can you... Yeah. That Buffalo game was a lot of fun. It really was. Now, the Vikings didn't get any sacks in the game, which is kind of weird, kind of frustrating. You could say Larry Dean, I'll just mention this, when we're looking on the defensive side of the ball a little bit here. Yeah, he's definitely going to make the team. He was all over the place. You got to like that. Marvin Mitchell. That's right, Marvin Mitchell. That's another topic we can get to real quick. Since I guess we could kind of say we're sort of on linebackers. We're going to kind of go defense in general here. Two guys that are absolutely positively going to make the team, in my opinion, and will play significant roles this season are Marvin Mitchell and Andrew Sandiaho. Yes, Andrew Sandiaho, who barely who showed up here late last year. Minnesota Vikings picked him up off the streets last season. He was a Dallas Cowboy for 2 games in 2010. He played 4 games for the Vikings last year. He's going to be playing on Sundays. And he's going to be playing on as many Sundays as health will allow. I think Sandiago is going to be playing. Not only is he a solid special teams player, but I think he's going to be playing some safety this year. Absolutely. Eric Frampton obviously is going to be here, of course. That's a given. Josh Robinson, I like what he's doing. I mean, he deflected 2 passes in the Buffalo game. He finally played. Josh Robinson finally played in a game and he deflected 2 passes. That's very encouraging. He made some rookie mistakes. I mean, it's his first game ever. He took a bad angle on one of the plays. But overall, Josh Robinson, I think, maybe we'll say 2 years from now, Josh Robinson will be far and away, in my opinion, the best cornerback on the roster, maybe the best guy in the entire secondary. Maybe. He might be your number 1 guy in your whole secondary, including the likes of Harrison Smith and Chris Cook, of course. Chris Cook, I don't know, man. He's okay. But, I think Sandiago and Marvin Mitchell, who's been excellent in the practices, in the training camp, and, of course, who's been good in these games. I like Marvin Mitchell. There's even talk that he may be putting the pressure on. I mean, he is putting the pressure on Aaron Henderson for that outside linebacker starting spot. Marvin Mitchell just might be the starting outside linebacker come start of the regular season. He's actually been outperforming Aaron Henderson thus far, which is kind of sad, but true. It's very true. He was a former New Orleans Saint and Miami Dolphin, and now he is a Viking. He's played extensive football, 71 games to be exact, over the course of his career. He's obviously a guy who would make the team, no doubt about it. He's an NFL player, but he just might be the starting linebacker, and this not so great linebacking core. I mean, I think he's got a legit shot at it. I'm not the biggest Chad Greenway fan. Jasper Brinkley's the biggest question mark in the history of the world. he really is. And Aaron Henderson is, he's okay. He worked his butt off to become a starting linebacker in this league, but he's the starting linebacker for a team that's not exactly got the best, got the most depth in the league at his position, which is a very safe opinion there. It's kind of like where do you go from there? I mean, Marvin Mitchell, I guess why not? I mean, more power to Mr. Mitchell if he can earn that starting position. But if he can get enough competition between 2 guys or 3 guys or 4 guys, they just might actually get better, and that would be a good thing. Sometimes, obviously, in-team competition can be a really good thing. Larry Dean also is a guy, I think he's going to make the team, no doubt. That's another guy who just might push for something. Probably not a starting spot, but significant playing time. Why not? Why not at all? Why not indeed? Mr. Raymond is starting at the free safety position because, who else are you going to put in there? Well, maybe Sandiao. Maybe. But as of right now, Raymond is still the starting safety. Outside of that, really, the main guy who stood out late in that Buffalo game, as I was mentioning earlier, with multiple pick sixes, jumped the route twice on Tyler Thigpen because he saw what Thigpen was going to do. I mean, you could just tell Cole was ready for those passes. He made the interceptions, and he went all the way to the end zone. The pay dirt, Audie Cole picked off Tyler Thigpen and took the Vikings to victory as he took the ball to pay dirt not once but twice. And the Minnesota Vikings evened the record in the preseason 1-1. Yes, sir. Sorry, I couldn't resist imitating that voice. Yeah, I love that voice. Old NFL films. Audie Cole. Well, 7th round pick. Just looked on as a sleeper. Like, man, he could be something pretty good. Well, yeah, I don't think there's any doubt he's going to be on the roster. He's going to have to really earn long-term playing time. I mean, you could say some of it's luck, but hey, not necessarily. How many Minnesota Vikings players actually catch the ball when the ball is thrown in their direction for an interception? How many times do they actually catch it? Well, not that often. Audie Cole did it twice. So we'll take it. Of course, you can never expect that type of thing to happen not once, but twice in a game. But again, we'll take it. Maybe later on, this guy could be a huge fit at the position. I mean, there's obviously there's opportunity at the linebacker spot. I think Audie Cole absolutely should, at minimum, earn the final roster spot at the position. I think he's absolutely done that, at least as of right now. I mean, things that have to completely collapse for him to not do that. Oh, there are 2 more games. You got the 3rd game of the preseason. Dennis Green's first favorite game of all time, other than the in bye week and out of bye week, as Dennis Green had such a great record in those. You got the 3rd game of the preseason. Everybody's going to play 3 quarters. And it's not the Bears this time. Okay, sorry. Yeah, the Chargers are who we thought they were. Well, they better be this time. Because they certainly weren't who we thought they were last year. Oh, boy. Isn't that hilarious how that all worked out? Yeah, the Chargers. The way they gave up that lead. We could have had the same outburst last year. The Chargers are who we thought they were, huh? Well, they better be this time. Oh, man, that was a bad start to the regular season last year. Yeah, we don't want another one of those. But really, the defense in general looked better in the second game than the first game. There's no doubt about that. It was nice to see. It was very refreshing to see pick sixes. It really was. I mean, it took place within 13 seconds of each other. One pass intercepted, second pass intercepted. Poor Tyler Thigpen. He's better than that. Everybody knows that. It's just, oops. I mean, Audie Cole, nice work, man. Actually, no, it wasn't Tyler Thigpen on both. It was Brad Smith. Pardon me. Tyler Thigpen got an interception, and then Brad Smith, who completed 1 pass. Well, actually 2, but one of them was to Audie Cole. The wonderful quarterback rating of 0. Sorry about that mistake there, but yeah, it was late in the game, and you get kind of distracted, especially when something exciting like that happens. You're more interested in what Audie Cole did than who actually threw the ball at that point. Good stuff. That Buffalo game was, it was encouraging in a lot of ways. The quarterback, the defense looked better. Of course, you get the nice plays by Adi Cole that I keep talking about. Blair Walsh's kicking was incredible. I mean, that's the one position you could say in the preseason where it's like, hey, you don't have to just come out and say, oh, who cares, it's just preseason. Well, Blair Walsh made those kicks. He did. It's not a clutch moment in the NFC Championship game or anything, but, hey, he made kicks of over 40 yards. And yes, it was indoors, but he still made them. He still made them because people missed him, man. Doug Bryan couldn't make extra points. There are guys that have NFL roster spots that can't make an extra point sometimes. So, very encouraging again. Blair Walsh did great. Cole, obviously, 1,000 times mentioned. Ponder, 1,000 times mentioned. Jerome Simpson looks good. Exciting. Marvin Mitchell, yeah, not the most exciting player ever because he's like 28 already, but he looks okay too. Good stuff. Of course, Kalil, as mentioned before, looks utterly fantastic. Virtually lights out. The overall offensive line is better than it was. That's a very, very good thing. Isn't it, though? So let's get back to the Facebook page real quick. Sebastian saying he was impressed with a lot of the starters. Yeah, I agree. He's on both sides of the ball. That makes me kind of excited. Simpson was awesome. Might be back in the Ponder bandwagon. He was talking about the yep. So kind of left off from that one before. Now we get to Tony Coleman. Tony Coleman's post here. First post in about a month, but hey, very cool to have him back here. He says, I recorded the Vikes-Bills game on my DVR and watched it later. It cut off before the game was over. It stopped when it was 19-14. So then I went over to Vikings.com just to verify the final score. You can imagine my surprise when I saw the score was 36-14. Thank goodness for online highlight reels. I'm sad I missed the ending. And yeah, 2 words. Adi Cole. Yeah. Yeah, the 2 words, yeah. Very simple ones, aren't they? Truth in linebacker. Truth in interception. There we go. Hey, there you go. Adi. Truth in interception. Yeah, it's kind of dumb, but at least it's a start. Hey, we'll take it. We'll take anything we can get at this point. If it's a dumb joke or a dumb bit, hey, as long as it helps us win football games, it doesn't matter how dumb it is. To the Twitter account, there were a couple mentions on there. Purple Mafia Show. Twitter.com /Purple Mafia Show or at Purple Mafia Show, however way you want to say it. True Vikes fan at True Vikes fan was telling me good luck. Hope it's fast and painless because, yeah, Purple Mafia's host Paladino Joey had a root canal about a week ago, and it was fast and painless. Yeah, until the next day, and guess what, ladies and gentlemen, it still hurts. Yeah, it's been about a week and it still hurts. So, True Vikes fan, if you're listening, I'm not sure if they're a listener or just a Twitter follower, just kind of on there to conversate, not necessarily doesn't know about the show yet. But if you are a listener, thank you for the wish, and hopefully the pain goes away soon. It's getting better, but it's taking way too long. Way too long. Yeah. Dale Davies out of Wales, I believe. Yeah, I believe he's out of Wales from what I saw. Very nice to meet you. He's a Bears fan. His Twitter handle is at BOMBOM, so BOMBOM 77. He says, "Hey there, would you like to be a guest on NFC North Fan Roundtable hosted by Bear Downuk? If you would, tweet back." He was talking about that. We'll get back to that in a second. Hannah Sheldon says she was at the dentist herself, goes to happy place. So we got a little dentist conversation there. Sorry about that, guys, but, you know. Dale Davies was checking to see if I got his tweet, and I do apologize for that. He says, cheers. Yep, and yes, it took a couple days to get to it. I kind of was out of the loop there for a little bit. Justin in Rochester shouting out for me some more. At JDay _24. Yep, do give Justin in Rochester a follow. Good guy, very good guy. He was like a listener a long time ago and came back, so gotta like that. We talked about that on the previous show. And a lot of guys shouting out to me on here in these little deals. Purple Love, that's Craig. Purple Love 021, that's at or whatever. And then at Vikings Chad doing another one, saying Skull, like that. I appreciate that very much, guys. Man, it just kept going for a while there. Dale Davies saying, no worries about me being late on tweeting back. We have our roundtable set for Sunday, but have a Viking at present. Maybe looking for one before the regular season games. If you're interested, if anything changes, I'll let you know. So yeah, if you're listening, Dale, yeah, let's give it a shot as long as the schedule works out. My schedule is kind of crazy. I work 2 jobs, and I work, sometimes I work late at night. It can get tough. I usually record my shows in the late at night too, so that's another thing for all of you to note. I mean, it's usually when you're hearing my voice on the podcast, I've recorded it in the nighttime, which I am right now as well. True Vikes fan tweeted back to say, glad to know I'm not in as much pain. I hate the dentist, and for anyone who has to go, LOL, I'm a chicken. Nice. Vikings idealist, cool. He tweets back saying we're playing the Bills in the preseason, but I think we have a shot to win 4. Yes. That was when I said the Vikings definitely look improved. He says, yeah, we have a shot to win 4. Yeah. It's a little sarcasm there. Yeah, the Vikings will win 4. I'm leaning closer to like 6 or 7, honestly. That was a conversation that kind of got going there for a little while. Yeah, I said, yeah, I'm thinking 6 or 7. But right now, we're a better team, I agree. He types in WTF better, as in to say he thinks we're a lot better, I think. That's Craig actually that said that, not Vikings idealist. Craig thinks we're a lot better. He says, yeah, it's a start. We're a 9+ win team if no major injuries. Ooh, I'm not going that far yet. I'm not going to go that far yet. I'm going to say 7 right now. I mean, I think this team is closer to the 2007 team than the 2008 team. It's just too early in the development of very important positions right now for me to say that. Secondary is way too raw. And, of course, Matt Kalil just started. Ponder's pretty raw still, but looking way better. It's one of those things. If it seems too good to be true, it probably is. That's kind of how I'm saying. Dale Davis gave a shout out. Davies gave a shout out to his new followers, being one of them. Thanks for the follow. And yep, thank you as well. Yeah, just met him this past week. Thank you again for that. Very cool. I'm not sure how long he's been listening. Maybe he'll tell me on Twitter. That'd be cool. Yeah, and a quick little thing came up at the end here. This came up yesterday afternoon. There's a slight little rumor mill going around about possibly Tavares. Yeah, that guy. Do I have to say his name again? Yeah, Tavares Jackson maybe coming back here?
Oh my God!
It's like, what were they thinking?
Not sure I can handle that. I'm not so sure about that. Tavares Jackson back in the Vikings? Okay. And that kind of comes back from, the conversation with Sebastian Balls earlier about, possibly getting rid of Sage Rosenfels. Right now, no. You look at the quarterbacks coming down the roster, the Vikings aren't going to do it. It's not going to happen. It's just a possibility that maybe they'll be interested in trading for him. But right now, or maybe picking him up, off waivers or whatever. Why would you do that? Joe Webb is better than Tavares Jackson. If you're going to keep Webb as the backup, he's better than Tavares Jackson, and I think Sage Rosenfels would be more stable, say if you're going in the Sage Rosenfels range. Webb is better, and Rosenfels is just more stable. Why would you bring Tavares back? Doesn't make any sense. I don't think so. Pab8484 at PAB8484 says, no way, that's just a rumor. I was saying it is, but you never know, or something like that. I forget how I said it. And he says, I know, I have nightmares of his jump passes against the Eagles. Yeah, that was hell. He did some of those against the New York Giants, too, in his last game that he actually played here for the Vikings. He looked so good. Yeah, he had 2 touchdown passes and 3 interceptions. It was like, this guy he's terrible. Sam Gupta. I haven't heard from him in a long time. He says, at Beagle Breath is his handle on Twitter. He says, I just can't see that either. Does Cleveland need a quarterback? Maybe we'll see T-Jack and Chili Part 2. And it's like, that kind of makes sense. In a sick way, that makes sense. I wouldn't be surprised, actually, if that happened. I wouldn't, unless Cleveland's like, Chili, just shut up and coach the offense, okay? Don't even think about it. Unless Cleveland does that, but hey, I wouldn't be surprised. I would be surprised if he went there to be the backup. McCoy's still there, though, from what I remember. But are they completely done with McCoy, or what's the deal? Would they want to bring in Tavares Jackson because he's a little older? Whedon is obviously going to start. He's like 28. I can't. Yeah, that is kind of funny how Cleveland may finally have an okay quarterback, but he's 28 already. Let's just hope he has more success than Chris Winkie did. God love Chris Winkie, Minnesota native, horrible NFL quarterback. End of discussion on that one. And it's going to be the end of the episode. We're going to head off into the sunset here. We're going to get to the contact details. Mentioned before, Purple Mafia is available on the sportstuff.com and on iTunes. Thank you always for that. Please do join the message boards on that very sportstuff.com. Simply type in the sportstuff.com/boards. Go on there, click register, sign up for your screen name. Get in those forums. They are split in divisions. You got the North and all that stuff, NFC North. You can talk to all those rival Bear fans, Packer fans. I actually said the name of the team. Sorry about that. I was going to not say their name on the show. And Lions fans, guys like that. And, of course, the Vikings, all of us in there, and other divisions as well. Maybe you're a Jets fan or a Steelers fan or a Dolphins fan, whatever. There you go. Get in there and talk on those boards. Interact. Enjoy. Contact me on there, of course. You have the Facebook page, Facebook.com/Purple Mafia Show. Click like on there. Interact with me. Let's get some new people on there. Doggone it. And, of course, Twitter, @Purple Mafia Show, @Purple Mafia Show. Do follow that account. Would be great. I'm always available, guys, to be tweet. My schedule may stink, but I'm always willing to communicate with you. I have an Android smartphone, the Droid 3. It gives me an alert. I'm going to get back to you. I'm really annoyed at myself that I didn't get back to Dale Davies faster at BombBomb77. I'm annoyed at myself for that, so I do apologize if you're listening. Hopefully you are, because you knew my name, so I don't actually have my name, Joey, on the Twitter account, so you must be a listener. That'd be great. Great to hear from you guys out there. It's always welcome, of course, as I mentioned, the Facebook group as well, and the sportstuff.com. Don't forget the phone lines, 209-736-7877, 209-736-7877. It is a voicemail. Do you treat it as such. Mention what show you're calling in for, which is Purple Mafia. Statement, shout-out, question, comment, anything, everything. Always welcome on the show. Anthony from LA, miss you, man. Brent Jacobson. Oh my goodness, it's been how long since you've heard from Brent Jacobson? I think 2010. I know he listens out there. He hasn't been able to hear all of them sometimes. Had iPod problems at times, but I hope you're listening, Brent. I missed you. I miss hearing from you on this show. Great caller. All of you out there. And new faces out there, or faces that might be familiar but they never called in. Hey, call in. Dying for it. And again, always, hey guys out there, if you want this show to grow, and it needs to grow, doggone it, tell your friends. Spread the word about Purple Mafia. Would be terrific. Be it Twitter, Facebook, or in person, whatever, would be terrific to have that. I'd appreciate it very much. And don't be afraid to review me on iTunes. Rate me on iTunes if you have the time. That would be terrific. Thank you again for listening. My goodness, I think I might have gone under an hour on this one. I don't know how long it's since I've done that. I have no idea. But I may have done it this time. All right, everybody, do take care. We'll be back sooner than later.